The 1978 D Washington quarter minted at the Denver Mint is part of the standard copper-nickel-clad series of quarters issued by the U.S. Mint during the late 20th century. It is relatively common due to its high mintage, and the coin itself holds no silver content. While most 1978 D Washington quarters are worth only face value in circulated condition, certain factors such as minting errors or high-quality uncirculated examples can increase their value. 1978 D Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, D, Denver Mint. Mintage, approximately 507 million, making it a common coin in circulation. Composition, copper-nickel clad. While the 1978 D quarter is generally abundant, certain errors or unique features can make specific examples more valuable to collectors. Here are some potential error types to look for: die cracks and die chips, though they usually don't increase its value significantly unless the crack or chip is especially prominent or large. Off-center strikes. Off-center strikes can be worth anywhere from $100 to $500 or more, especially if a large part of the design is missing and the date remains visible. Clipped planchets, with larger clips being more valuable. These can typically be worth between $190 and $700, and sometimes more, depending on the severity of the clip. Double die errors. While these errors are relatively rare, noticeable double die error can increase the coin's value. Coins with significant doubling in the lettering could be worth more than $1,000 to $5,000. Conclusion: while most 1978 D Washington quarters are relatively common and valued at face value in circulated condition, high-quality examples and error coins can make them more appealing to collectors. Coins with significant errors like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies can fetch higher prices, particularly in higher grades or well-preserved condition. The 1979 Washington quarter without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Like most quarters from this period, it's made from a copper-nickel-clad composition and contains no silver content. Quarters from the 1970s are generally common, and a 1979 issue is no exception, with over 515 million produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In circulated condition. 1979 Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, none, indicating the Philadelphia Mint. Mintage, approximately 515 million, making it a common coin. Composition, copper-nickel clad. Error varieties and collectible features. While the 1979 Washington quarter isn't particularly known for rare or valuable errors, types of mint errors can occasionally be found. These error types may increase the value of a standard 1979 quarter, depending on the error's prominence. Die cracks and die chips, particularly near Washington's profile or the lettering, may be of interest to collectors. Off-center strikes, depending on the severity, off-center quarters may range in value from $100 to $500 or more. Clipped planchets, larger clips or more distinctive shapes can increase the coin's desirability in value, potentially ranging from $100 to $750. Double die errors. Double die errors involve a die. While rare on 1979 quarters, noticeable double die can add significant value if it is strong and clear. Strike-through errors. It may enhance the coin's collectible value. Value of the 1979 no mint mark Washington quarter. Circulated condition. In mint state, MS, condition, these quarters can be worth a little more. Coins graded around MS-63 to MS-64 may be valued between $10 and $20. Higher grade coins, such as MS-65 and above, may be worth between $20 and $50 or slightly more, particularly if they exhibit strong details and few blemishes. Error coins. Coins with notable errors, like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies, can be valued much higher. Prices for error coins typically range from $1,000 to $3,225, and larger, more dramatic errors may fetch even higher prices depending on their uniqueness and condition. Conclusion: in general, the 1979 no mint mark Washington quarter is common and holds minimal collectible value in circulated condition. However, uncirculated coins in high grades and coins with notable errors or unique features can have added value. The 1979 D Washington quarter minted at the Denver Mint is part of the standard series of copper-nickel-clad quarters that were issued by the U.S. Mint in the late 20th century. Like most quarters from this period, the coin has no silver content, and its value is generally close to face value unless it is in high grade or error condition. The 1979 D quarter, with a mintage of over 450 million, is fairly common in circulation. 1979 D Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, D, Denver Mint. Mintage, approximately 451 million, making it a common coin. Error varieties and collectible features. Though the 1979 D Washington quarter is not widely recognized for having major types of errors, there are still some collectible features that may make certain coins more valuable. Some error types and unique features to look for include die cracks and die chips. These features can still attract interest from collectors. Off-center strikes. Depending on the size of the off-center strike, it can be worth anywhere from $100 to $500, and sometimes more if the error is severe and the date is still visible. Clipped planchets. and how much of the design is affected can determine the value. Clipped planchets can range from $100 to $700 or more, based on the severity and desirability of the error. Double die errors. While not as common on this year's coins, a noticeable double die error would increase the coin's value, especially if the doubling is strong and clear. Strike-through errors. It can make the coin more desirable to collectors and could slightly increase its value. Value of the 1979 D Washington quarter, uncirculated/mint state. In mint state, MS, condition, the coin's value increases slightly. In grades of MS63 to MS64, a 1979 D quarter is typically worth around $10 to $30. Coins graded MS65 or higher may fetch between $30 and $80 depending on the quality of the strike and preservation. Coins with especially sharp details or clean surfaces can be worth more, particularly if they are well preserved. Conclusion: most 1979 D Washington quarters are abundant and are typically worth only face value in circulated condition. However, those in higher grades or with minting errors could see increased value. For example, error coins like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and double dies can be worth much more depending on their severity.
The 1965 Washington quarter holds a unique place in numismatic history, particularly due to the error varieties that have emerged from that year. While the quarter itself is not inherently rare, certain error types can make specific examples valuable. The 1965 quarter is famous because it marks the first year of transition from silver to a copper-nickel clad composition, which was a major shift in U.S. coinage. This historical change, combined with the multiple error varieties that exist, has made the 1965 quarter highly collectible. This article explores the 1965 quarter's historical context, key error varieties, and their current values, providing a deep look at what makes these coins sought after by collectors. Historical context of the 1965 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Originally struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, the quarter maintained this composition until 1964. However, during the early 1960s, the United States faced a severe coinage shortage largely due to rising silver prices. Silver had become more valuable in bullion form, leading to widespread hoarding of coins. To combat this shortage and to prevent further hoarding, the U.S. Mint announced in 1964 that it would transition quarters, dimes, and eventually half dollars to a copper-nickel clad composition. This decision led to a significant change in 1965, when quarters were no longer produced in silver. Instead, the Mint adopted a copper core with a copper-nickel clad layer, which continues to be the standard for quarters today. This transition made 1965 quarters a critical milestone in U.S. coinage history. However, it also introduced a range of minting issues that resulted in errors, some of which have become highly desirable among collectors. Key error types for the 1965 Washington quarter. The transition from silver to clad composition involved a series of adjustments in the minting process, which created opportunities for errors. Some of these errors are relatively common, while others are extremely rare, adding value to the 1965 quarter. Below are the primary error types associated with this coin. 1965 silver planchet error. This is the most famous and valuable error type for the 1965 quarter. During the transition period, a small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets intended for 1964 quarters. This resulted in a handful of 1965 quarters being minted with the old silver composition instead of the new copper-nickel clad alloy. These quarters, known as wrong planchet or silver planchet errors, are highly prized due to their rarity and historical significance. Identifying characteristics.
The 1964 SMS Lincoln penny is a fascinating and mysterious coin in the world of numismatics, and its rarity and potential value have intrigued collectors for decades. Though the 1964 Lincoln penny may look ordinary, it's far from typical due to its SMS Special Mint Set status. This unique designation, paired with its unusual production history and low mintage, has made the 1964 SMS penny a highly sought-after coin among collectors. This guide will delve into the coin's history, characteristics, notable features, and estimated value in the coin collecting market. The rarity and mysterious background of the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny make it a valuable coin in the collecting world. Unlike other pennies from the 1960s, the 1964 SMS penny commands a high price due to its scarcity and unique qualities. Heritage Auctions 2005 and 2005, a high-grade 1964 SMS Lincoln penny sold at Heritage Auctions for $11,500. This sale highlighted the coin's appeal and the willingness of collectors to pay a premium for rare, high-quality examples. Stack's Bowers Auction 2019. In 2019, another 1964 SMS penny with a high mint state grade sold at a Stack's Bowers auction for over $12,000, further cementing the coin's status as a prized collectible. Private sales. Some SMS pennies have changed hands privately, with reports of individual sales reaching as high as $15,000 These high sales or more indicate for exceptional strong demand specimens and limited supply, two factors that continue to drive the 1964 SMS penny's market value. History of the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny. To understand the significance of the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny, it's essential to know about the context of the U.S. Mint's activities during the early 1960s. The 1960s were a time of heightened coin demand in the United States, driven by a coin shortage and the desire to satisfy collector enthusiasm. Typically, the U.S. Mint produced regular business strike coins for everyday circulation and proof coins for collectors. However, in the mid-1960s, production procedures began to shift. Coin shortage crisis and its impact. By 1964, the U.S. faced a major coin shortage. Silver coins especially were in high demand, and the government feared hoarding would intensify if they continued to mint coins with silver content. The government's response included a cessation of proof sets and a reduction of minting collectible coins to focus on coins for circulation. Consequently, in 1965, the U.S. Mint started producing special mint sets SMS in place of proof sets to accommodate the rising demand for collectible high-quality coins. The mystery of the 1964 SMS coins. However, unlike other years, no official special mint sets were planned or released for 1964. Mysteriously, in the 1990s, several examples of what appeared to be SMS 1964 Lincoln pennies surfaced. These coins exhibited characteristics associated with special mint sets, including a sharper strike and satin-like finish, distinct from ordinary 1964 business strikes or proofs.
The 2000 Virginia Quarter is part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, celebrating Virginia's history with a design featuring 3 ships, the Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, symbolizing the 1607 founding of Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in America. Minted in Denver, Mint mark, this quarter has various error varieties that can add to its collectible value. Notable errors and value for the 2000 Virginia Quarter. Clipped planchet error. This error involves a portion of the quarter being clipped off due to improper cutting of the planchet. Value. Depending on the size and visibility of the clip, these can be worth between $20 and $100 or more. Die crack or cut error. Die cracks and cuts can appear as raised lines or blobs on the coin where the die fractured or broke off. These are commonly seen along the rim or through parts of the design. Value. Minor die cracks may add only a few dollars to the value, but a substantial cut could be worth between $50 and $500. Off-center strike. Off-center strikes result when the planchet is misaligned with the dies, causing part of the design to be missing. The value is higher when the date is still visible on the coin. Value. Minor off-center errors may be worth around $100 to $300, while more dramatic ones with visible dates can go from $100 to over $1,900. Missing clad layer. This error occurs when one of the nickel layers on the coin's surface is missing, exposing the copper core underneath. This usually appears on one side of the quarter. Value. Missing clad layer errors are highly collectible, and they typically range from $500 to $200 based on the extent of the missing layer. Double die error. A double die error can appear on the text or parts of the design if the C. Werowan's die received multiple impressions. For the Virginia Quarter, look closely at phrases like e pluribus unum or Virginia for doubling. Value. Depending on the prominence, double die errors could fetch anywhere from $20 to over $100. General value of the 2000 Virginia Quarter. In circulated condition, a regular 2000 Virginia Quarter without errors is worth its face value of 25 cents. However, in uncirculated or high mint state (MS) condition, it can be worth around $1 to $5. Quarters with well-defined errors, especially those in uncirculated condition, are generally valued much higher due to their rarity in collector interest. The 2000 Massachusetts Quarter represents both a piece of Massachusetts history and a part of the broader 50-state quarters program, making it an enjoyable coin to collect. While most circulated quarters are worth only their face value, uncirculated, high-grade, or error varieties can carry a premium, especially among collectors interested in building a comprehensive set of state quarters. The 2000 Massachusetts Quarter remains a popular piece for its tribute to the Minutemen of the American Revolution and as a unique part of America's numismatic journey. Mintage and rarity. The 2000 Massachusetts Quarter had a high mintage, reflecting the coin's circulation and popularity as part of the state quarters program. Mintage. Approximately 628 million Massachusetts quarters were minted in Philadelphia, which makes this coin relatively common in circulated condition. Because of the high production, finding this quarter is easy, especially in circulated condition. Uncirculated or high-grade examples are slightly harder to come by, though they are still generally affordable. Value of the 2000 P Massachusetts quarter. The value of a 2000 P Massachusetts quarter depends on its condition, with circulated examples worth face value and uncirculated coins or those with errors potentially worth more. Circulated condition, face value. Most circulated 2000 P Massachusetts quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents, as they are common and readily available. Uncirculated condition. MS-63 grade, $5 to $10 coins in MS-63 condition have minor imperfections, but they retain original luster. MS-65 grade, around $10 to $25 these coins display strong luster with fewer contact marks and a more appealing appearance. MS-67 and higher, high-grade coins, especially those certified by a reputable grading service, can be worth significantly more. In MS-67, these quarters can fetch $25 to $75, and MS-68 examples can bring upwards of $300. The higher the grade, the rarer the coin, making them more desirable to collectors. Errors and varieties of the 2000 P Massachusetts quarter. Certain errors and varieties can add value to the 2000 P Massachusetts quarter. Here are a few to watch for. Die cracks. Die cracks can form on the dies over time, causing raised lines or areas on the coin where metal flows into these imperfections. These errors are usually minor but can add value, depending on visibility and location. Off-center strikes. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not correctly aligned with the dies during minting. If the date and design are visible, an off-center error can be more valuable, 5% to 10% off-center, worth $100 to $500. More than 10% off-center can be valued at $1,000 or more, especially if it enhances the visual appeal. Struck-through errors. Struck-through errors happen when foreign objects, such as metal shavings or grease, obstruct the die, resulting in missing or blurred details. The 2002 Tennessee quarter, part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, is a popular coin due to its design featuring a trio of musical instruments, a guitar, trumpet, and fiddle, symbolizing Tennessee's contributions to country, blues, and jazz. However, there are certain error coins from this year that collectors find particularly valuable. Rare errors and value of the 2002 Tennessee quarter. Clipped planchet error. This error occurs when a piece of the coin's edge is missing because the blank planchet was improperly cut from the metal sheet. It can vary in size from a small clip to a large missing section. Value. Depending on the severity of the clip, values can range from $100 to over $1,000. Double die error. A double die error results when the design is struck twice in a slightly different position, causing a doubling effect. For the Tennessee quarter, look for doubling on the text or on parts of the design, especially the words E pluribus unum and Tennessee. Value. A strong double die error can be worth around $200 to $500 or more, depending on the strength and location of the doubling. Die crack or cut error. Die cracks happen when a die begins to fracture and leaves raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface. Cut errors, a type of die break, occur when part of the die face breaks away, leaving a raised blob on the coin. Value. Die cracks may not add much value unless they are large and prominent, typically $20 to $50. Cuds, if significant, can fetch $50 to $250. Off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin is not correctly aligned with the dies during the strike, causing part of the design to be missing. Value. Minor off-center strikes may be worth around $200 to $500, but if the coin is more than 10% off-center and still shows the full date, it could fetch $1,100 or more. Missing clad layer. Some 2002 Tennessee quarters were struck with one of the clad layers, usually on one side, missing. This makes the coin appear copper on one side. Value. These errors can range from $100 to $950, depending on the size and location of the missing clad layer. General value of the 2002 Tennessee quarter. In circulated condition, a standard 2002 Tennessee quarter without errors is generally worth its face value, $5. In uncirculated or high-grade condition, it may be worth about $5 to $30. Error coins in uncirculated condition, however, command much higher premiums due to their rarity and collectability. The 2000 P South Carolina quarter is another coin from the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, featuring South Carolina's state outline, the Carolina wren, state bird, yellow jessamine flower, state flower, and the sabal palmetto tree. Here's a look at the history, common errors, and values associated with this coin. History of the 2000 P South Carolina quarter. This quarter was minted in 2000 to honor South Carolina as one of the original 13 colonies, highlighting symbols unique to the state. It was produced in both Philadelphia, P. Mint Mark, and Denver, D. Mint Mark, with millions of these quarters released into circulation. Notable errors and values for the 2000 P South Carolina quarter. Clipped planchet error. Like other quarters, a clipped planchet error on the South Carolina quarter can vary from small clips to larger segments missing from the edge. These clips are usually quite visible. Value. Depending on the size of the clip, these quarters can sell for $50 to $1,000 or more. Die crack or cut error. Die cracks and cut errors can be seen on some 2000 P South Carolina quarters. A die crack appears as a raised line or jagged mark, while a cut is a larger, often rounded area resulting from a piece breaking off the die. Value. Die cracks, if minor, usually add modest value, around $30 to $50, while significant cuts could be worth $50 or more. Off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin is misaligned with the die, leading to part of the design being cut off. Off-center strikes are particularly valued and the date is still visible. Value. A minor off-center strike may be worth around $50 to $200, while a more dramatic off-center error, with a clear date, can be valued from $200 to over $1,000. Missing clad layer. In this error, one of the coin's clad layers, typically on one side, is missing, giving the affected side a copper appearance. Value. Missing clad layer errors can add significant value, with prices ranging from $500 to $1,200 depending on the extent of the missing layer. Double die error. Some 2000 P South Carolina quarters display doubling on letters or design elements. Look closely at United States of America or E pluribus unum for any doubling effects. Value. A double die error could fetch between $200 and $1,300, depending on the prominence of the doubling. General value of the 2000 P South Carolina quarter. In circulated condition, a standard 2000 P South Carolina quarter without errors is generally only worth its face value of $3. In uncirculated or MS, mint state, condition, it may be worth around $3 to $5. However, quarters with unique errors, especially those in high grade, can command premiums as noted above due to their collecting.
These top Lincoln pennies are definitely worth looking out for. The 1967 Lincoln penny is interesting among collectors due to its lack of a mint mark and potential for error varieties. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was not placing mint marks on coins as part of an effort to discourage coin hoarding during a national coin shortage. This means that all 1967 Lincoln pennies lack a mint mark, which doesn't add extra value on its own. However, error varieties can make a 1967 penny valuable. Key error types and values. Here are some of the notable errors for the 1967 Lincoln penny and their approximate values. Double die errors. Double die varieties, especially on the obverse, are highly sought after. Depending on the severity and condition, these coins can be worth from around $200 to over $1,100 in high grades. Off-center strikes. Off-center errors range in value depending on the percentage of the off-center strike. Minor off-centers, 5 to 10%, may be worth around $100 to $800, while extreme off-centers, 50% or more, can fetch $1,000 or more. BIE error. The BIE error, caused by a die crack between the B and E in Liberty, creates a small vertical line resembling an I. Values typically around $80 to $500 in circulated grades and more in uncirculated grades. Clipped planchets. A clipped planchet error is when a small portion of the coin's edge is missing due to an error in the blanking process. This can add value, ranging from $50 to $400 depending on the size and completeness of the clip. General value for non-error coins. A regular 1967 penny without errors is generally worth only face value in circulated condition. However, uncirculated examples or coins graded MS65 or higher can be valued at $30 to $100, with particularly pristine examples reaching even more. Collecting error coins from 1967 can be rewarding due to their historical context, but values depend heavily on the specific error type and the coin's overall condition. If you have a 1967 penny with a rim error, consider having it evaluated by a coin grading service or dealer for a more precise valuation, especially if the error is substantial. The 1971 S. Lincoln penny, minted in San Francisco, is noteworthy for its proof quality and potential for rare error varieties. While standard 1971 S. pennies in circulated and uncirculated condition are generally not very valuable, certain proof varieties and error coins can attract higher interest and prices among collectors. The 1971 S. penny primarily exists as a proof coin, intended for collectors and not for general circulation. Proof coins are struck with specially prepared dies, producing sharp details and mirror-like finishes. Circulating 1971 Lincoln pennies were minted only in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark, while the S mint mark identifies the coin as a proof from San Francisco. The 1971 S proof penny is known for a rare double die obverse (DDO) error, where parts of the design, such as "Liberty, in God we trust," this error is highly sought after and can command significant premiums. Values for 1971 S proof pennies with a DDO can range from $500 to over $5,000 depending on the coin's condition and the extent of doubling, with coins in higher grades fetching the highest prices. Standard proofs. Regular proof 1971 S pennies without errors are more common and generally valued between $5 to $20. However, high-grade examples, graded PR69 or PR70 by PCGS or NGC, can be valued higher, reaching $50 to $500 or more due to their pristine condition. Cameo and deep cameo varieties. Some 1971 S-proof pennies display cameo or deep cameo, DCAM, contrasts, with frosted designs and mirrored fields. These varieties are more visually appealing and valuable, especially in high grades. Cameo and deep cameo examples can range from $150 to over $2,000, with high-grade deep cameo examples fetching the upper end. Minor errors, less common. Other minor errors, like die cracks, rim burrs, or planchet flaws, may occasionally be found on 1971 S-proof pennies. While these errors are generally not as valuable as the DDO, they can still command premiums, usually between $100 to $500 depending on the error type and visibility. The most valuable 1971 S pennies are those with clear and significant errors, especially the DDO variety. Collectors often seek these coins due to the proof quality and error rarity, making high-grade and error varieties of the 1971 S penny among the most desirable for that year. The 1983 Lincoln penny is known among collectors for several error varieties, some of which can be quite valuable. Most of these errors are due to production issues that occurred after the U.S. Mint transitioned from copper to a zinc core in 1982, resulting in unique varieties and occasional errors in the following years. Here are the most notable 1983 Lincoln penny errors and their approximate values. Notable 1983 error varieties. 1983 Double Die Reverse, DDR. The most famous and valuable 1983 error is the Double Die Reverse. This error is relatively rare and highly sought after. Values for this error range from $250 to $500 in circulated condition, while uncirculated examples can fetch $1,000 or more, depending on the coin's grade. Higher grade DDR pennies have sold at auction for several $1,000s. 1983 Transitional Error, Copper Planchet. Some 1983 pennies were accidentally struck on copper planchets left over from pre-1982 production. These are transitional errors because the U.S. Mint switched from copper, 95% copper, 5% zinc, to a zinc core with a copper coating in 1982. A 1983 penny struck on a copper planchet can be identified by weighing it, 3.11 grams for copper versus 2.5 grams for zinc. This error is exceedingly rare, with only a few known examples, and can be worth $10,000 to $15,000 or more depending on the grade. Off-center strike. Off-center strikes occur when the coin is not properly centered during the striking process, resulting in part of the design missing. The value depends on the extent of the off-center strike and whether the date is visible. Values for off-center 1983 pennies range from $50 to $400 for minor off-centers and up to $1,500 or more for dramatic off-center strikes. Clipped planchet. Clipped planchets occur when a blank is incorrectly cut, resulting in a coin with a missing portion. Values for clipped planchet errors on 1983 pennies can range from $100 to $1,000 or more, depending on the size and shape of the clip. Broad strike error. A broad strike error happens when a coin is struck without a collar, causing it to expand outward and produce a wider, rimless appearance. These are less common and can range in value from $150 to $500. Regular 1983 penny value. In general, a standard 1983 penny without errors, in circulated condition, is worth only face value. However, high-grade examples, graded MS65 or above, without errors can be worth $30 to $150 due to collector interest in pristine, zinc core pennies. 1983 Lincoln pennies with these errors are highly collectible, especially the DDR and copper planchet errors. The 1986 D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, is typically common, but certain errors in high-grade specimens can increase its value among collectors. By 1986, pennies were being minted on a copper-plated zinc planchet, which sometimes led to unique error varieties due to the challenging nature of working with zinc. Here are some of the most notable 1986 D penny errors and their approximate values. Notable 1986 D Lincoln penny error varieties. Double die errors. Double die errors on 1986 D pennies are relatively rare but sought after. Values for 1986 D double die pennies vary, typically ranging from $100 to $2,000, with well-defined doubling in higher grades potentially worth even more. Die cracks and die chips. Die cracks and die chips are common on zinc pennies, as the planchet material is more brittle than copper. Die chips can often appear around the Liberty or date, and sometimes near Lincoln's face or on his coat. Although minor, die crack and die chip errors can add a small premium, typically ranging from $200 to $1,480. More extensive die cracks can be valued slightly higher, especially if they impact the design. Off-center strike. An off-center strike occurs when the planchet is not correctly aligned with the dies, resulting in part of the design missing. Values depend on the degree of the off-center strike and whether the date remains visible. Minor off-center strikes can sell for $100 to $500, while more dramatic examples with a significant portion of the design missing can fetch $1,150 or more. Clipped planchet. A clipped planchet error, where a small portion of the coin is missing due to an incomplete blank, is another known error for 1986 D pennies. The value depends on the size and shape of the clip. A 1986 D penny in exceptionally high uncirculated grades, like MS65 or higher, can also be valuable. Due to the wear-prone zinc composition, high-grade specimens without spots or discoloration are harder to find. In MS65, an uncirculated 1986 D penny is typically valued around $100 to $200, with MS67 or higher examples fetching $500 to $1,000 or more. Most 1986 D pennies without errors or in circulated condition are only worth face value, but those with prominent errors or in pristine condition are collectible. If you suspect you have an error penny or a high-grade coin, consider having it graded or appraised to determine its full value. The 1990 Lincoln penny is generally common in circulation, but certain errors and high-grade examples can make it valuable. Here's a look at what makes some 1990 pennies especially rare and sought after, and what they're worth in various conditions. Notable 1990 Lincoln penny error varieties. The rarest 1990 Lincoln penny variety is the No S proof penny. This error occurred on some proof pennies minted in San Francisco, where the S mint mark was accidentally omitted. Only a small number of these No S proof pennies exist. The 1990 No S proof penny is extremely valuable and highly sought after by collectors. Prices can range from $2,000 to over $5,000, depending on its condition and the quality of the proof strike. Double die errors. Although double die varieties for 1990 Lincoln pennies are not as prominent as those from other years, some examples exist. A double die error for 1990 pennies can add value, generally ranging from $500 to $3,000, depending on the clarity of the doubling and the coin's grade. Die cracks and die chips. Due to the zinc core used in pennies starting in 1982, die cracks and die chips are relatively common. These errors are typically seen around Lincoln's face, on his coat, or around the Liberty text. Off-center strike. An off-center strike error occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design missing. Values for off-center errors vary based on how much of the design is missing and if the date is still visible. A clipped planchet error is when part of the coin's edge is missing due to a miscut blank. The value depends on the size and shape of the clip. High-grade 1990 Lincoln pennies. Uncirculated condition. A 1990 Lincoln penny in mint state condition without any errors can be worth a premium. High-grade examples, particularly those graded MS65 or higher, can attract collector interest due to their excellent condition. MS67 or higher can be worth $10 to $1,100 or more, especially if certified by a reputable grading service. The most valuable 1990 Lincoln pennies are the no-S-proof and high-grade examples or coins with significant errors. If you believe you have one of these rare varieties, especially a no-S-proof, consider having it professionally authenticated and graded for an accurate assessment of its value.
The 1977 Washington quarter minted without a mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, is quite common, as the mint issued over 130 million of them that year. Like other quarters from the era, it was struck in copper-nickel clad, with no silver content. While the 1977 Philadelphia Mint quarter is a rare, it can commonly be of interest to collectors, especially if in high quality or if it exhibits minting errors. 1977, no mint mark, Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, no mint mark, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Mintage, approximately 130.5 million, making it a common coin. Composition, copper-nickel clad, with no silver. Error varieties and collectible features. While the 1977 Philadelphia quarters are not particularly famous for specific errors, collectors may still find value in examples with minting anomalies or those in exceptional grades. Some potential error types to look out for include die cracks and die chips. Though these errors are typically not highly valuable, larger or more prominent die cracks could be of interest to collectors. Off-center strikes, with larger off-center errors potentially fetching between $100 and $500, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Clipped planchets, these can range in value, with larger clips being more valuable and attracting higher prices. Double die errors, though rare, a double die error can occur when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned. If the doubling is significant and noticeable, the coin could be worth more than a standard quarter. Value of 1977, no mint mark, Washington quarters. Uncirculated/mint state, in mint state, MS, condition, the value of the 1977 quarter increases. In grades of MS63 to MS64, they can be worth around $10 to $20. In higher mint state grades, MS65 and above, a well-preserved 1977 quarter could be worth between $20 and $50, with especially well-graded examples potentially fetching slightly more. Error coins, errors like off-center strikes or clipped planchets can increase the value of the 1977 quarter. In general, these error coins could be worth anywhere from $500 to $2,250 or more, depending on the rarity and prominence of the error. Highly dramatic errors with visible parts of the design missing or unusual minting characteristics may attract higher bids. For any high-grade or error-bearing 1977 Philadelphia quarter, it's a good idea to get the coin graded by a professional service such as PCGS or NGC. The 1977 D Washington quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, is another example of a coin from the 1970s that is common in circulated condition. The 1977 quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it has no silver content. While the quarter is relatively easy to find in most conditions, there are still certain factors that can make specific coins more collectible or valuable, particularly if they feature errors or are in high grades. 1977 D Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, D, Denver Mint. Mintage, approximately 421 million, making it a common issue. Composition, copper-nickel clad, no silver content. Error varieties and special features. Though not famous for specific types of errors, certain minting anomalies may still be found on the 1977 D quarter. Collectors often look for the following error varieties: die cracks and die chips. While these errors don't generally increase the coin's value significantly, larger or more prominent die cracks may attract collectors. Off-center strikes, particularly if a significant portion of the design is missing. These errors are typically worth $100 to $500, and the value increases if the date is still partially visible. Clipped planchets. The value of clipped planchets can vary based on the size of the clip, with larger clips generally adding more value. Double die errors. While double die errors are more famous on coins like the 1955 Lincoln cent, they can still occur on other coins. These errors are generally rare but can command a premium if noticeable. Strike-through errors. This can sometimes create an unusual look for the coin, and depending on the severity, it could make the coin more valuable. Value of 1977 D Washington quarters. Significant numismatic value in everyday circulation. Uncirculated/mint state. In high grades, MS63 and above, a 1977 D quarter may be worth $5 to $15, depending on the quality of the coin. In gen quality grades, MS65 or higher, these quarters can be worth $25 to $50 or more. Error coins. Error coins like off-center strikes, major die cracks, or clipped planchets can increase in value, with error examples ranging anywhere from $700 to $5,500, and even higher for more dramatic or rare errors. If you believe you have an error coin or a high-grade 1977 D quarter, it's always a good idea to have it graded by a reputable grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Grading can authenticate the coin's value and make it more appealing to serious collectors. The 1974 Washington quarter, like other quarters from the 1970s, was minted in large numbers, making it relatively common in circulated condition. There are no particularly rare or famous errors associated with this year, but high-quality uncirculated examples, as well as certain mint errors, can still attract collector interest. 1974 Washington quarter overview. Mint locations and mint marks. Philadelphia, no mint mark, approximately 801 million minted. Denver, D mint mark, approximately 353 million minted. Composition, copper nickel clad. Notable error varieties for the 1974 Washington quarter. Although 1974 quarters aren't typically known for major errors, various types of minting anomalies can appear, which can increase their value to collectors. Some of the notable error types include die cracks and die chips. While smaller cracks are common and don't add much value, larger die breaks or chips can attract attention. Double die errors. A true double die error, if prominent, would increase the coin's value. Off-center strikes. The value increases with the degree of misalignment, especially if the date is still visible. These errors are popular among collectors and can fetch $200 to $500 or more depending on the degree of off-centering. Clipped planchet. Clipped planchet errors vary in size and value, with larger clips typically worth more. Strike-through errors, with larger or more unusual examples being valued higher. Value of 1974 Washington quarters. Uncirculated/mint state. High-grade uncirculated examples can be worth $10 to $20 depending on quality. In MS-65 or higher grades, they could be worth around $50 to $100. Error coins. The value of 1974 error quarters varies widely based on the type and severity of the error. Minor errors like small die cracks may only add a small premium, while significant off-center strikes, major die breaks, or dramatic strike-throughs could increase the value to $1,000 or more. For any high-grade or error-bearing 1974 quarter, professional grading can help verify its authenticity and potentially increase its resale value. The 1974 D Washington quarter, minted in Denver, is common in circulated condition and holds no silver content, as it is composed of a copper-nickel clad. However, high-quality uncirculated examples, as well as certain mint errors, can make it more interesting to collectors. 1974 D Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, D, Denver. Mintage, approximately 353 million, making it a common issue. Composition, copper-nickel clad, no silver. Collectible qualities and error varieties. While the 1974 D quarter is generally common, certain types of mint errors can increase its value. Below are some error types that might be found on this coin: die cracks and die chips. While smaller cracks or chips don't usually add much value, larger or unique patterns may interest collectors. Double die errors, for any signs of doubling. True double dies can add a premium, though they're rare. Off-center strikes. These errors can be worth anywhere from $100 to $500 or more, especially if the date is still visible. Clipped planchet, and it can increase the coin's value depending on its size and shape. Strike-through errors. These can vary in value, especially if the strike-through is prominent or affects a notable area of the design. Value of 1974 D Washington quarters. Uncirculated/mint state. In uncirculated or high mint state grades, MS-63 or higher, a 1974 D quarter can be valued around $10 to $20. In top grades like MS-65 or above, it may be worth $50 to $100 or more. Error coins. Error coins from 1974, such as off-center strikes or significant die cracks, can sell for $1,000 to $3,000 or more depending on the type and visibility of the error. For any high-quality or error-bearing 1974 D quarter, professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC can provide authentication and may enhance its value for collectors. The 1973 P Washington quarter is a widely circulated coin from the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike some years, the 1973 quarter does not have particularly notable error varieties that are widely recognized, and most of these quarters are fairly common in circulated condition. However, there are still factors that can make certain 1973 P quarters more appealing to collectors. 1973 P Washington quarter overview. Mint mark. The P mint mark indicates it was minted in Philadelphia, although Philadelphia quarters did not actually bear a mint mark in 1973. Mintage. The Philadelphia Mint produced around 346 million quarters in 1973, making it a fairly common issue. Composition. The coin is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, no silver. Error varieties and special characteristics. While there are no particularly famous error varieties associated with the 1973 P quarter, general types of minting errors may still appear on some examples from this year. Here are a few error types that could be found: die cracks and die chips. Chips don't add much value. Larger and more noticeable die breaks can attract collectors interested in unusual characteristics. Off-center strikes. Off-center strikes are errors caused by misalignment during the striking process. If a 1973 P quarter has an off-center strike, particularly if it is significant, it may increase the value. Double die errors. While double die errors are more famous on other coins and years, it's always possible to find minor double die errors in any minting year. Strike-through errors. Sometimes, foreign material like grease or metal shavings can get between the die and planchet during striking, causing areas of the design to be weak or missing. Clipped planchet. A clipped planchet error occurs when a portion of the metal blank is missing before the coin is struck. Clipped planchets are rare but can appear on any coin, including the 1973 P quarter. Value of 1973 P Washington quarters, uncirculated/mint state, high-grade, uncirculated examples, MS63 and above, are more desirable to collectors. These can be worth around $10 to $20 depending on grade. Error coins. Error coins from 1973 vary widely in value. Common errors, like minor die cracks, might sell for $500 to $3,000, while major errors, such as an off-center strike, can fetch between $500 and $1,000 or more depending on severity. To determine the exact value, you may want to have a particularly nice or error-bearing 1973 P quarter professionally graded. The 1972 D Washington quarter is interesting to collectors, especially when it features notable minting errors. The Denver Mint produced over 311 million quarters in 1972, so regular quarters from this year are generally common. However, error varieties are sought after for their rarity and unique characteristics. Types of errors found on the 1972 D Washington quarter: die cracks and die chips. Die cracks or chips generally don't add significant value unless they are particularly large or prominent, but they can still be appealing to collectors. Off-center strikes. The value of an off-center error increases with the degree of misalignment, particularly if the date remains visible. Double die errors. Look closely at the inscriptions like "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or $quarter for any doubling, as this can add a premium value depending on the prominence. Clipped planchets. The value of these can vary, but larger and more noticeable clips tend to be valued higher. Strike-through errors. These errors can add some value, particularly if the affected area is large or visually interesting. Value of 1972 D error quarters. The value of a 1972 D Washington quarter with an error can range from $500 to $2,000, significantly more, depending on the rarity and visibility of the error. Common errors, like minor die chips, may be valued at $10 to $50. More notable errors, such as major off-center strikes or double dies, could fetch $500 to $2,000 or more if in good condition. For precise valuation, having the coin graded by a professional service, such as PCGS or NGC, can help determine its market value. Collectors often seek high-grade examples of error coins, and a coin's condition is critical to its overall worth. The 1971 Washington quarter without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Since the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark on quarters at that time, the absence of a mint mark on a 1971 quarter does not indicate an error. This coin is part of the regular copper-nickel clad series that began in 1965, following the removal of silver from quarters. Background of the 1971 no mint mark Washington quarter. Composition: copper-nickel clad, no silver content. Mintage: over 109 million, making it a high mintage coin. Value of the 1971 no mint mark quarter. Because it's a common, high mintage coin, the 1971 no mint mark quarter is generally worth its face value in circulated condition. Only uncirculated examples in high mint state grades have any significant value. MS63, MS64, valued at around $5 to $10. MS65, prices increase slightly, ranging from $10 to $20. MS66, can be worth $50 to $100 due to its condition rarity. MS67 or higher, exceptional grades may fetch $500 or more due to the challenge of finding these coins in pristine condition. Errors and varieties for the 1971 no mint mark quarter. While there are no widely recognized major error varieties for the 1971 quarter, minor errors may occasionally be found. Here are a few types of minor errors that can add value to this coin. Die cracks, small cracks on the coin's surface resulting from wear on the die. Minor die cracks may add around $50 to $200. Off-center strikes. These coins show a misalignment due to incorrect positioning during striking, with values between $100 and $500 depending on the extent. Clipped planchet, occurs when part of the coin's edge is missing due to a fault during planchet cutting. These can be valued from $50 to $450. The 1971 D Washington quarter is a copper-nickel clad coin struck at the Denver Mint. While it is common in circulated grades, high-grade examples and certain errors can be valuable. Background: mintmark. The D mintmark indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. Composition: copper-nickel clad with a core of pure copper and an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the same composition used since 1965. MS63 to MS64, these coins are worth about $5 to $10. MS65, the value rises to around $10 to $20. MS-66, coins in this condition can be valued at $5 to $100. MS-67 or higher, at this top grade, a 1971 D quarter may be worth $500 or more, but finding coins in this pristine condition is rare. Errors and varieties. While no major double die or other prominent errors are recognized for the 1971 D quarter, there are some minor varieties and errors that collectors may find interesting. Die cracks, common minor errors that occur during the minting process. Values depend on the size and location of the die crack but usually range from $50 to $400. Off-center strikes. Coins that are misaligned can be worth $100 to $500, depending on the degree of off-centering. Clipped planchets. A planchet with a clipped edge can be worth $500 to $1,000, based on the size and location of the clip. Collectability. The 1971 D quarter is considered common in circulated grades, so it's typically easy and inexpensive to obtain for a collection. However, collectors who focus on Washington quarters often look for high-grade examples to complete date and mint-mark sets, which can be challenging to find for this date. Coins with unusual toning, strong strikes, and excellent luster also attract collectors more. The 1970 D Washington quarter is an interesting coin for collectors, particularly for its place in the transition period of U.S. coinage following the elimination of silver from quarters in 1965. While the 1970 D quarter is generally considered common, some errors and high-grade examples can carry notable value. Background, mintmark. The D mintmark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Composition, made of a copper-nickel clad, consisting of an inner core of pure copper and an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition has been standard for quarters since the shift away from silver in 1965. Mint state, MS, 1970 D quarters can be more valuable, especially in high grades, MS-65 and above. In grades MS-63 to MS-64, the 1970 D quarter may be worth around $5 to $10. In grades MS-65 to MS-66, the value rises to $20 to $50. MS-67 and above can bring values of $350 or more, but finding a 1970 D quarter in such pristine condition is rare. Error varieties and special features. While there are no major recognized errors for the 1970 D quarter, collectors sometimes find coins with minor errors such as die cracks, off-centering, or double dies. Minor errors can increase the coin's value, often adding $20 to $100 depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. Double die. There is no widely recognized double die for the 1970 D quarter, but any instance of doubling on this coin, if confirmed by a professional grading service, could significantly increase its value. Collectability. The 1970 D quarter is common and widely accessible, making it a low-cost addition for those collecting by date and mintmark. However, finding well-preserved examples in high mint state grades can be challenging, especially due to the coin's age and the materials used, which are prone to scratches and blemishes. Collectors may seek out high-grade specimens for registry sets or to fill gaps in Washington quarter collections. The 1977 Washington quarter minted without a mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, is quite common, as the mint issued over 130 million of them that year. Like other quarters from the era, it was struck in copper-nickel clad, with no silver content. While the 1977 Philadelphia Mint quarter is a rare, it can commonly be of interest to collectors, especially if in high quality or if it exhibits minting errors. 1977, no mintmark, Washington quarter overview. Mintmark, no mintmark, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Mintage, approximately 130.5 million, making it a common coin. Composition, copper-nickel clad, with no silver. Error varieties and collectible features. While the 1977 Philadelphia quarters are not particularly famous for specific errors, collectors may still find value in examples with minting anomalies or those in exceptional grades. Some potential error types to look out for include die cracks and die chips. Though these errors are typically not highly valuable, larger or more prominent die cracks could be of interest to collectors. Off-center strikes, with larger off-center errors potentially fetching between $100 and $500, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Clipped planchets, these can range in value, with larger clips being more valuable and attracting higher prices. Double die errors. Though rare, a double die error can occur when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned. If the doubling is significant and noticeable, the coin could be worth more than a standard quarter. Value of 1977, no mintmark, Washington quarters. Uncirculated/mint state. In mint state, MS, condition, the value of the 1977 quarter increases. In grades of MS-63 to MS-64, they can be worth around $10 to $20. In higher mint state grades, MS-65 and above, a well-preserved 1977 quarter could be worth between $20 and $50, with especially well-graded examples potentially fetching slightly more. Error coins. Errors like off-center strikes or clipped planchets can increase the value of the 1977 quarter. In general, these error coins could be worth anywhere from $500 to $2,250 or more, depending on the rarity and prominence of the error. Highly dramatic errors with visible parts of the design missing or unusual minting characteristics may attract higher bids. For any high-grade or error-bearing 1977 Philadelphia quarter, it's a good idea to get the coin graded by a professional service such as PCGS or NGC. The 1977 D Washington quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, is another example of a coin from the 1970s that is common in circulated condition. The 1977 quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it has no silver content. While the quarter is relatively easy to find in most conditions, there are still certain factors that can make specific coins more collectible or valuable, particularly if they feature errors or are in high grades. 1977 D Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, D, Denver Mint. Mintage, approximately 421 million, making it a common issue. Composition, copper-nickel clad, no silver content. Error varieties and special features, though not famous for specific types of errors, certain minting anomalies may still be found on the 1977 D quarter. Collectors often look for the following error varieties: die cracks and die chips. While these errors don't generally increase the coin's value significantly, larger or more prominent die cracks may attract collectors. Off-center strikes, particularly if a significant portion of the design is missing. These errors are typically worth $100 to $500, and the value increases if the date is still partially visible. Clipped planchets. The value of clipped planchets can vary based on the size of the clip, with larger clips generally adding more value. Double die errors. While double die errors are more famous on coins like the 1955 Lincoln cent, they can still occur on other coins. These errors are generally rare but can command a premium if noticeable. Strike-through errors. This can sometimes create an unusual look for the coin, and depending on the severity, it could make the coin more valuable. Value of 1977 D Washington quarters. Significant numismatic value in everyday circulation. Uncirculated/mint state, in high grades, MS63 and above, a 1977 D quarter may be worth $5 to $15, depending on the quality of the coin. In gen-quality grades, MS65 or higher, these quarters can be worth $25 to $50 or more. Error coins like off-center strikes, major die cracks, or clipped planchets can increase in value, with error examples ranging anywhere from $700 to $5,500, and even higher for more dramatic or rare errors. If you believe you have an error coin or a high-grade 1977 D quarter, it's always a good idea to have it graded by a reputable grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Grading can authenticate the coin's value and make it more appealing to serious collectors. The 1974 Washington quarter, like other quarters from the 1970s, was minted in large numbers, making it relatively common in circulated condition. There are no particularly rare or famous errors associated with this year, but high-quality uncirculated examples, as well as certain mint errors, can still attract collector interest. 1974 Washington quarter overview. Mint locations and mint marks. Philadelphia, no mint mark, approximately 801 million minted. Denver, D mint mark, approximately 353 million minted. Composition, copper-nickel clad. Notable error varieties for the 1974 Washington quarter. Although 1974 quarters aren't typically known for major errors, various types of minting anomalies can appear, which can increase their value to collectors. Some of the notable error types include die cracks and die chips. While smaller cracks are common and don't add much value, larger die breaks or chips can attract attention. Double die errors. A true double die error, if prominent, would increase the coin's value. Off-center strikes. The value increases with the degree of misalignment, especially if the date is still visible. These errors are popular among collectors and can fetch $200 to $500 or more depending on the degree of off-centering. Clipped planchet. Clipped planchet errors vary in size and value, with larger clips typically worth more. Strike-through errors, with larger or more unusual examples being valued higher. Value of 1974 Washington quarters. Uncirculated/mint state, high-grade uncirculated examples can be worth $10 to $20 depending on quality. In MS65 or higher grades, they could be worth around $50 to $100. Error coins. The value of 1974 error quarters varies widely based on the type and severity of the error. Minor errors like small die cracks may only add a small premium, while significant off-center strikes, major die breaks, or dramatic strike-throughs could increase the value to $1,000 or more. For any high-grade or error-bearing 1974 quarter, professional grading can help verify its authenticity and potentially increase its resale value. The 1974 D Washington quarter, minted in Denver, is common in circulated condition and holds no silver content, as it is composed of a copper-nickel clad. However, high-quality uncirculated examples, as well as certain mint errors, can make it more interesting to collectors. 1974 D Washington quarter overview. Mint mark, D, Denver. Mintage, approximately 353 million, making it a common issue. Composition, copper-nickel clad, no silver. Collectible qualities and error varieties. While the 1974 D quarter is generally common, certain types of mint errors can increase its value. Below are some error types that might be found on this coin: die cracks and die chips. While smaller cracks or chips don't usually add much value, larger or unique patterns may interest collectors. Double die errors, for any signs of doubling. True double dies can add a premium, though they're rare. Off-center strikes, these errors can be worth anywhere from $100 to $500 or more, especially if the date is still visible. Clipped planchet, and it can increase the coin's value depending on its size and shape. Strike-through errors, these can vary in value, especially if the strike-through is prominent or affects a notable area of the design. Value of 1974 D Washington quarters. Uncirculated/mint state, in uncirculated or high mint state grades, MS63 or higher, a 1974 D quarter can be valued around $10 to $20. In top grades like MS65 or above, it may be worth $50 to $100 or more. Error coins from 1974, such as off-center strikes or significant die cracks, can sell for $1,000 to $3,000 or more depending on the type and visibility of the error. For any high-quality or error-bearing 1974 D quarter, professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC can provide authentication and may enhance its value for collectors. 1. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar, also known as the golden dollar, was introduced as a circulating coin by the United States Mint in 2000. It was notable for its unique design and its golden color, although the coin is not made of gold. Here's a breakdown of its history, design, and value. History. Introduction. The Sacagawea dollar was part of an effort to introduce a dollar coin that would be more widely accepted in everyday transactions. It replaced the Susan B. Anthony dollar, which was unpopular due to its similarity in size and color to the quarter. Minting and composition. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar is composed of a core of pure copper with an outer layer of manganese brass, which gives it its golden appearance. The coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, hence the P Mint mark. Popularity. Despite its striking appearance, the coin did not achieve widespread use in everyday transactions and saw limited circulation. However, it has remained popular with collectors. Value. Most 2000p Sacagawea dollars in circulation or average condition are normally particularly rare and usually hold a value of $10. However, certain conditions and varieties can increase their worth. Uncirculated condition. A 2000p Sacagawea dollar in uncirculated, mint state, condition can be worth around $10 to $50 depending on the grade. Higher mint state grades, such as MS67 and above, may fetch higher prices. Special editions. There are special Cheerios Sacagawea dollars that were included in 10 million boxes of Cheerios cereal as part of a promotional effort in 2000. These coins are rare, and their distinguishing feature is a more detailed tail feather design on the reverse. Cheerios Sacagawea dollars can be worth around $7,000 or more depending on their condition. Error coins, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet errors, can also command higher values depending on the type of error and its severity. The value for error coins can range from $100 to several $1,000s, depending on rarity and demand. 2. The 2008 D. John Quincy Adams presidential dollar is a generally considered super rare in its standard form. There are certain varieties and errors that can significantly increase its value and rarity. Here are some of the factors that could make a 2008 D. John Quincy Adams dollar coin valuable. Mint errors. Coins with mint errors are often the most valuable and rare. For the 2008 D. John Quincy Adams dollar, here are some types of errors that could be worth significantly more than face value. Missing edge lettering. One of the most notable errors for presidential $1 coins involves missing edge inscriptions. If the coin is missing the "In God We Trust, E Pluribus Unum" mint mark, or year on the edge, it is considered an error and can be worth significantly more. Some of these error coins have sold for $7,500 or more, depending on their condition and authenticity. Double-edge lettering. Another possible error is double-edge lettering, where the inscription is struck twice on the coin's edge. These are also rare and can fetch higher prices among collectors. Off-center strikes. If the coin was struck off-center, causing part of the design to be missing, this error can also add significant value. Depending on the extent of the error, off-center strikes can be worth from $500 to several $5,000. Die breaks or cuds. Coins with die breaks, cracks in the die used to strike the coin, or cuds, raised lumps on the coin caused by broken dies, are also of interest to error coin collectors. High-grade uncirculated coins. Even without errors, high-grade uncirculated coins can be valuable. Coins graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services, such as PCGS or NGC, can command premiums due to their pristine condition. For example, a 2008 D. John Quincy Adams dollar in MS-67 can be worth around $200 to $700, and higher grades like MS-68 or MS-69 could potentially be worth more. 3. The 2007 George Washington Presidential Dollar was the first coin issued in the Presidential $1 Coin Program, a series of coins honoring U.S. presidents in the order they served. George Washington, as the first President of the United States, 1789 to 1797, was the first to be featured. Release date: the George Washington Presidential Dollar was officially released on February 15, 2007. Mintage and composition. The coin is composed of a manganese brass-clad alloy with a golden appearance, though it contains no actual gold. The composition includes 88.5% copper, 6% zinc, 3.5% manganese, and 2% nickel. The value of the 2007 George Washington Presidential Dollar depends largely on its condition, whether it's a standard circulated coin, an uncirculated coin, or a proof coin. Circulated coins: most 2007 George Washington dollars found in circulation are worth $20. Uncirculated coins, particularly those graded in high mint state, MS, grades such as MS-65 or higher, can have a premium. A typical uncirculated George Washington dollar in MS-63 or MS-64 condition may be worth around $20 to $100, while coins in MS-67 or MS-68 could fetch $100 to $550 or more. Error coins can significantly increase the value of a 2007 George Washington dollar. Some of the most notable errors include: example worth $500 $6,000, missing edge lettering. These coins were minted without the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, E Pluribus Unum," or the year and mint mark on the edge. Coins with missing edge lettering can be worth $500 to $4,750 or more, depending on their condition. Double edge lettering: if the edge lettering was accidentally struck twice, it is considered a valuable error. These coins can be worth $50 to $100 or more, depending on their condition. Other errors, other striking or planchet errors can also increase a coin's value. 4. The Grover Cleveland Presidential $1 coins were unique in the Presidential $1 coin series because Cleveland is the only U.S. president to have served 2 non-consecutive terms. As a result, there are 2 different Grover Cleveland $1 coins, each marking a separate term of his presidency. Released in 2012, the first Grover Cleveland dollar was issued to commemorate his first term as the 22nd president, 1885 to 1889. Rarity factors and errors: while neither of the Grover Cleveland $1 coins in their standard form are particularly rare, there are certain factors that could make a Grover Cleveland coin much more valuable. Low mintage numbers: starting in 2012, the U.S. Mint stopped producing presidential $1 coins for general circulation due to reduced demand. Instead, the coins were struck only for collectors and were distributed in limited quantities through numismatic sets. This makes both Grover Cleveland dollar coins relatively scarcer compared to earlier issues. High-grade uncirculated coins, mint state, MS, coins graded MS-67 or higher are relatively rare and can command a premium. Coins in pristine condition that have not been circulated are more desirable to collectors. These high-grade uncirculated coins can be valued at $200 to $500 or more, depending on their grade. Error coins: as with any coin, mint errors can significantly increase the value of a Grover Cleveland presidential dollar. Some of the most valuable errors include: missing edge lettering. Presidential dollars have edge lettering that includes "In God We Trust, E Pluribus Unum," and the mint mark. Coins that are missing this edge lettering are highly sought after by collectors. Such error coins can be worth $500 to $1,150 or more, depending on condition and demand. Double edge lettering: coins that were struck with edge lettering applied twice are also considered error coins and can have higher value, typically ranging from $1,000 to $5,000 or more. Off-center strikes: coins that are struck off-center can also be valuable, especially if a significant portion of the design is missing. These coins can range in value from $500 to several $4,009, depending on the severity of the misstrike. Satin finish coins: satin finish versions of the Grover Cleveland dollar were produced for special mint sets from 2005 to 2010. While these aren't common for the Cleveland coins, some uncirculated sets may have coins with unique finishes or higher quality strikes that collectors seek out. 5. The Zachary Taylor Presidential $1 coin was part of the Presidential $1 coin program and was released in 2009. It commemorates Zachary Taylor, the 12th President of the United States, who served from 1849 to 1850. Edge lettering: the coin features the edge lettering with the inscriptions "E Pluribus Unum," "In God We Trust," the year of minting, and the mint mark. In 2009, "In God We Trust" was still on the edge, but it was moved to the obverse in later years. Composition: The Zachary Taylor dollar coin is made from a manganese brass-clad composition, giving it a golden appearance. It contains 88.5% copper, 6% zinc, 3.5% manganese, and 2% nickel. Value. The value of the Zachary Taylor presidential dollar largely depends on its condition and whether it has any errors. Here are the main value categories. Uncirculated coins. Uncirculated coins, those that have never been used in commerce, may be worth slightly more. A typical uncirculated Zachary Taylor dollar in MS-63 or MS-64 condition might be worth around $100 to $300. Coins in MS-67 or higher condition could fetch $300 to $700 or more. Error coins. Error coins are the most valuable and can significantly increase the value of a Zachary Taylor dollar. Some potential error types include missing edge lettering. Some coins were minted without the edge lettering, which includes, "In God We Trust," "E Pluribus Unum," the year, and the mint mark. Such error coins can be worth $500 to $1,550 or more. Double edge lettering. Coins that have the edge lettering struck twice are also considered valuable errors. These can be worth $1,700 to $8,000 or more. Other errors. Coins with striking errors, such as off-center strikes or die cracks, can also increase in value, depending on the rarity of the error. 6. The James Buchanan Presidential $1 coin was released in 2010 as part of the Presidential $1 coin program, which honored U.S. presidents in the order they served. James Buchanan was the 15th President of the United States, serving from 1857 to 1861, just before the Civil War. History and design. Release date, August 19, 2010. Composition. The James Buchanan coin is composed of a manganese brass-clad alloy, giving it a golden appearance. It contains 88.5% copper, 6% zinc, 3.5% manganese, and 2% nickel. Rarity factors and errors. While the James Buchanan $1 coin is not inherently rare, certain factors such as error coins and high-grade uncirculated versions can make it more valuable to collectors. Low mintage numbers. For circulation, in 2010, the U.S. Mint continued to produce presidential dollars, but the demand was decreasing. Although the mintage numbers for the James Buchanan coin are not extremely low, they are lower compared to earlier coins in the series, making it somewhat scarcer. High-grade uncirculated coins. Uncirculated coins in mint state, MS, grades, particularly those graded MS-67 or higher, are more sought after by collectors. Coins in such high grades can fetch prices between $700 to $1,250 or more, depending on the market. Error coins. Error coins are the most valuable and highly sought after by collectors. Some possible error types for the James Buchanan $1 coin include missing edge lettering. One of the most notable errors in the presidential $1 series is the missing edge lettering. Coins that are missing, "In God We Trust," "E Pluribus Unum," the year, or the mint mark are considered valuable. Such error coins can be worth $500 to $1,550 or more, depending on their condition. Double edge lettering. Coins that have edge lettering struck twice are also considered rare errors. These coins can range in value from $1,200 to $8,500 or more. Satin finish coins. Satin finish coins were produced for collector sets by the U.S. Mint. These have a different, matte finish compared to standard uncirculated coins and can sometimes carry a premium depending on their condition and rarity.
1954 Jefferson nickel, like others from the series, is part of the long-running U.S. 5-cent coin series that began in 1938. While 1954 Jefferson nickels are not typically considered rare. In the sense of scarcity, there are certain varieties and higher-grade examples that can be valuable to collectors. Here is a breakdown of its history, varieties, and potential value. History of the 1954 Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel was designed by Felix Schlag and has been in continuous production since 1938. The obverse features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, and the reverse shows Monticello Jefferson's Virginia home. The 1954 nickel was minted in 3 locations. Key varieties and errors. Full steps designation. One of the most desirable features on a Jefferson nickel is a full steps FS designation on the reverse. This refers to the number of steps on Monticello being fully visible and struck without wear. Coins with this designation, especially in higher grades, can command premium prices. Repunched mint mark RPM. Some 1954D and 1954S nickels exhibit repunched mint marks, where the D or S appears double due to a restrike during the minting process. These varieties are sought after by error collectors. Current value of the 1954 Jefferson nickel. According to the NGC price guide, as of October 2024, a Jefferson nickel from 1954, in circulated condition, is worth between $5 and $10. However, on the open market, 1954 nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition sell for as much as $2,000. Full steps FS nickels with a full steps designation can increase the value significantly, particularly for 1954S. A full steps coin in MS65 or better can be worth $500 to $2,000 or more, depending on the sharpness of the strike and the overall quality of the coin. Conclusion. While the 1954 Jefferson nickel is not rare in most circulated conditions, certain varieties like those with full steps or repunched mint marks can increase its value substantially. For collectors, finding a high-grade uncirculated coin, especially with the full steps designation, is the key to owning a valuable 1954 Jefferson nickel. 2. The 1962 Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running series featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. While not considered particularly rare, the coin has value in high-grade or certain error conditions. Let's explore its history, key varieties, and potential value. History of the 1962 Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel, designed by Felix Schlag, has been in circulation since 1938. The 1962 nickel follows the standard design, with a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The coin was minted in 2 locations. Key varieties and errors. Full steps designation FS. As with other Jefferson nickels, collectors often seek examples with a full steps designation. This means the steps on Monticello on the reverse are fully visible and sharply struck without wear. Full steps coins are much rarer and more valuable, especially in higher grades. Doubled die error. Some 1962 nickels, particularly from the Denver Mint, may exhibit doubled die errors, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. Doubled die varieties can attract collectors and raise the value. Die clashes, off-center strikes, and other mint errors. Miscellaneous mint errors like off-center strikes, die clashes, or planchet flaws can also occur and increase the value of the coin for error collectors. Current value of the 1962 Jefferson nickel. According to the NGC price guide, as of October 2024, a Jefferson nickel from 1962 in circulated condition is worth between $5 and $10. However, on the open market 1962 with error nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition sell for as much as $5,000. Conclusion. The 1962 Jefferson nickel is not particularly rare, but coins in higher mint state grades, especially those with full steps or notable errors, can be worth a premium to collectors. If you have a 1962 nickel in excellent condition, it may be worth having it evaluated for full steps or errors to determine its potential value. 3. 1964 Jefferson nickel, like others in the series, was widely minted and is generally common in circulated condition. However, high-grade examples, full steps varieties, and certain errors can add significant value. Here's an overview of its history, varieties, and value. History of the 1964 Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel was designed by Felix Schlag and has been in production since 1938. The obverse features Thomas Jefferson's portrait, while the reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. The 1964 nickel was produced during a period of heavy coinage as the U.S. Mint responded to a coin shortage due to the rising value of silver, which was causing people to hoard silver coins. Because nickels contain no silver, they were produced in large quantities to keep coins in circulation. Key varieties and errors. Full steps designation FS. The full steps designation refers to the visibility of the steps on Monticello on the reverse of the coin. Nickels with clear, unbroken steps are rare due to weak strikes, and they are highly sought after by collectors. Full steps coins command a premium. Doubled die error. Some 1964 nickels exhibit doubled die errors, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. These errors are valuable, especially in higher grades. Repunched mint mark RPM. Some 1964 D nickels may show a repunched mint mark RPM, where the D appears to be struck more than once due to repunching during production. RPM varieties are collectible and can add value to the coin. Other errors, additional errors such as die clashes, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws are also possible and can increase the value of the coin for error collectors. Current value of the 1964 According to the Jefferson NGC nickel price guide, as of October 2024, a Jefferson nickel from 1964 in circulated condition is worth between $3 and $5. However, on the open market 1964 with error nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition sell for as much as $3,500. Conclusion. The 1964 Jefferson nickel is extremely common in circulated conditions, but in higher grades, especially with full steps or error varieties, the coin can be quite valuable. Although the 1965 Jefferson nickel is not particularly rare, some coins in high grades or with errors can carry more value. Here's a detailed look at its history, varieties, and current value. History of the 1965 Jefferson nickel. In 1965, the U.S. Mint was producing large numbers of base metal coins due to the coin shortage of the early 1960s. Silver was being removed from circulating coinage dimes and quarters, but the nickel continued to be struck from the same copper-nickel composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel it had since 1946. Key varieties and errors. Full steps designation FS. As with other Jefferson nickels, collectors often seek examples with the full steps designation. This refers to the sharpness of the strike on the reverse, specifically the steps of Monticello. Full steps nickels. especially from this period,
die errors,
are rare and highly
1965
prized. Jefferson nickels may exhibit doubling on either the obverse or reverse due to a double die error. These varieties are sought after by collectors and can significantly increase the value. Other minting errors, miscellaneous errors like die clashes, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws can also occur and increase the value for error collectors. Current value of the 1965 Jefferson nickel. According to the NGC price guide, as of October 2024, a Jefferson nickel from 1965 in circulated condition is worth between $4 and $7. However, on the open market 1965 with error nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition sell for as much as $4,250. The 1965 Jefferson nickel is not particularly rare in circulated condition, but it can be valuable if it is in uncirculated condition with full steps, or if it contains errors like double dies. Collectors are particularly interested in high-grade examples, so it's worth examining your coin closely for sharp strikes or any errors that could make it more valuable. 5. The 1977 Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running series featuring Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag in 1938. Though it was minted in large numbers and is common in circulation, high-grade examples and those with certain errors can have added value. History of the 1977 Jefferson nickel. By 1977, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for nearly 40 years, and the design remained unchanged. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the same composition used since the end of World War II, except for the 1942 to 1945 wartime nickels, which contained silver. Key varieties and errors. Full steps designation FS. As with other Jefferson nickels, collectors seek examples with full steps. Full steps refers to the Monticello building on the reverse, where all the steps are visible and well struck. Due to wear and weak strikes, full steps nickels from this year are rarer, and they carry a significant premium, especially in higher grades. Double die error. Some 1977 nickels may show doubling, especially on the reverse or the letters of the obverse. Double die errors are sought after by collectors and increase the value. For the Denver minted coins 1977 D, collectors also look for repunched mint marks, where the D has been struck more than once. This is a notable error for mint mark varieties. Other minting errors. Other errors such as die cracks, off-center strikes, and misaligned dies can occur. These errors can add to a coin's value depending on their severity. Current value of the 1977 Jefferson nickel. According to the NGC price guide, as of October 2024, a Jefferson nickel from 1977 in circulated condition is worth between $4 and $7. However, on the open market 1977, with error nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition sell for as much as $5,220. Conclusion. The 1977 Jefferson nickel is common in circulation, but uncirculated examples, especially those with full steps or minting errors, can have significant collector value. If you have a 1977 nickel in high condition, it may be worth having it graded to determine if it qualifies for the full steps designation or contains any rare errors that can increase its worth. 6. The 1980 Jefferson nickel is part of the long-standing series featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. Although it is not a rare coin, high-grade examples or those with full steps or error varieties can add to its value. History of the 1980 Jefferson nickel. By 1980, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for over 40 years, largely unchanged. The nickel was designed by Felix Schlag, and the composition remained 75% copper and 25% nickel. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, the U.S. Mint was producing large numbers of coins to meet the needs of a growing economy. Key varieties and errors. Full steps FS designation. Full steps refers to the sharpness of the strike on the steps of Monticello on the reverse of the coin. Nickels with clearly defined full steps are rare and highly sought after by collectors, especially in high mint state grades. Some 1980 Jefferson nickels may exhibit double die errors, where part of the design such as the lettering or details of the portrait is doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. These varieties are highly collectible. Repunched mint mark RPM. There are RPM varieties for the 1980 D nickels, where the D mint mark appears to have been punched more than once. Other errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws, are possible and can increase the coin's value. Current value of the 1980 Jefferson nickel. According to the NGC price guide, as of October 2024, a Jefferson nickel from 1980p in circulated condition is worth between $3 and $5. However, on the open market 1980p with error nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition sell for as much as $2,525. Conclusion. The 1980 Jefferson nickel is generally common, particularly in circulated condition, where it holds minimal collector value. However, high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those with full steps, can be worth a premium. Additionally, error coins like double dies or repunched mint marks can increase the coin's value significantly. If you come across a well-preserved 1980 nickel, it may be worth inspecting for these traits to determine its full market value. 7. The 1983p Jefferson nickel is a part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series that has been in circulation since 1938. While it is a relatively common coin, examples in high grades or with specific features like full steps or minting errors can carry additional value. History of the 1983
In the early
1980s, the U.S. Mint was focused on high production numbers to meet the growing demand for circulating coins. The Jefferson nickel remained unchanged in both design and composition during this period. It features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. The composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel, which had been standard since the end of the wartime silver-nickel production in 1945. Full steps FS designation coins with full steps on the Monticello building are more desirable. Full steps indicate that the steps on Monticello are well struck and fully visible, which is rare due to the often weak strikes on Jefferson nickels. Collectors highly value these examples, especially in higher grades. Doubled die error. Some 1983p nickels may exhibit doubled die errors, particularly on the obverse or reverse, where elements of the design such as lettering or the profile of Jefferson appear doubled due to a die error during striking. These are valuable and sought after by collectors. Other minting errors, miscellaneous errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchet errors can also occur and add value for error collectors. Current value of the 1983p Jefferson nickel. According to the NGC price guide, as of October 2024, a Jefferson nickel from 1983p in circulated condition is worth between $3 and $5. However, on the open market, 1983p with error nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition sell for as much as $3,320. Error varieties. The potential for double die or other error varieties also attracts collectors, as these coins are more valuable than standard issues. Conclusion. While the 1983p Jefferson nickel is common in circulation, high-grade examples, especially those with the full steps designation or notable mint errors, can be valuable. Collectors focus on quality strikes from this year because well-preserved coins are harder to find. If you have a 1983p nickel, it's worth checking for these features to determine its full value.